Where was I? Oh, right. I was like learning like AI stuff. So like it's like I said, I like AI stuff. So I was like kind of like learning like the new systems, like the new stuff, and it's really good. I will say the new AI stuff is really good. It's just very expensive. It's like it's like $250 a month or something, but it's really good though. Leaflit is learning cringe. Yeah. I mean, it's cringe. Here's the thing, you don't understand. I've been into the AI stuff before everyone hated on it. I was in it when it was shit, when it was like absolute dog water. I was already into it. So none of this is like, none of this is new. None of this is new. The only thing that's new is like people hating on it. That's the only new stuff. I was in it. I was like working with AI stuff before, like with waifu wars and stuff. So this is like before that. Nobody complained about it before. Everyone thought it was really funny and like, oh, this is great. It's very funny. It wasn't until it started to get good that's when people started to hate on it, actually. No, we played AI Dungeon on stream. We played it on stream, like, or when it first came out, we played it on stream a long time ago. But how do you reconcile your support for AI and the artists unions who hate? I have a question here. Maltberry asked Leaflit, how do you reconcile your support for AI and artist unions that hate AI? I mean, how do they feel about cameras? How do they feel about cameras? How do they feel about Photoshop? And how do they feel about brushes? I have not had a single person, not even one person, talk to me about AI and hate on it with a consistent worldview. Not even one person. I have heard one argument against AI. There's only one that I have heard that I think actually holds any sort of philosophical consistency, and that's all automation is bad. I think that's a perfectly reasonable thing to say, is that AI is bad for humanity. Automation is bad for humanity. So this is how the argument goes. The argument goes that humans need work. Humans need work to survive, and humans need it as a means of what's the word? They need it for purpose, basically. Humans need to work to have purpose in order to survive in life, not just physically, but also mentally and spiritually, right? That is a good argument, actually, against AI, against automation. But here's the thing: you have to be against a lot of automation for that. Does that make sense? Like you're gonna have to be against fucking robots making like robotic arms making phones, and like or factory factory robots making like factory things. You have to be against that too, which I think is consistent. Actually, I think it's a good. I don't agree with it, but I think that's a good argument. Now, the problem. The problem with the AI art argument specifically is none of it makes any sense. So like a lot of the argument that people make, first off, is that it's copying. Like it's literally just like Frankensteining like a picture. Like it takes like 5 artists' pictures and then it like Picasso's them into like a collage of like a picture. That's not how it works. It's just like a fundamental misunderstanding of like how AI operates. But that's the one that they say a lot, basically. Tractors are not automation, but they take a lot of jobs. So did horses and donkeys before. Yeah, sure. Yeah, you could say that too. Yeah. Basically, any sort of innovation makes people lose jobs. So I could just make an art argument here. How about photography? Photography took a lot of jobs. So originally, before photographs, you had to hire a person, like an actual painter, who would sit down with like your whole family. Your whole family would like stand there, for like an hour. Like you just like get all dressed up. You'd stand out in the field for like an hour, and then the artist would draw like your family, and then that would be like your family portrait, right? Nowadays, like we have like a fucking magical box in our freaking in our pocket, and we just whip that out and take a picture. Now we have a photo, right? Whereas back in the day, you had to actually hire an artist to do that. So like when photography happened, that pissed off a lot of artists as well, because they started losing their jobs, right? How do you Shai says, how do you feel about this argument? I don't believe we should be trying to automate creativity, and I think that it's a fundamental worry, specifically with AI. See, I don't agree with that though. I don't agree with the premise of the argument, which is that AI stifles creativity. I don't think it does. In fact, I think what it does is it allows a single person to be like more creative in a broader spectrum. But so, okay, how do I explain this? AI is a tool that can be used for creativity, but it can also be used for evil. Think of it this way. If you have a person, right, with a so let me explain to you like how I see it. There are artists out there who call themselves artists, who they put a blank canvas on a wall, right? And then they throw paint on it, like randomly. Like they just throw paint onto a canvas, right? And there are people who would say that that is art. I don't think it is. I see that in the same way. You could do that in a way that is creative, right? In the same way. So with AI art, for instance, right? You could just say a picture of an apple, and then like you hit generate, and it's like the first thing that you see, and then you save that picture, and you say, I made a picture of an apple. To me, that's the equivalent of throwing paint onto a blank canvas, and you don't really care what it looks like. You're just like, I don't give a shit, like just whatever, just gonna throw paint on it and just like sell it for like $1,000 or whatever. Like that is equivalent to me. So to me, the AI is a means. It is a means and tool of art, but it doesn't mean that everything it creates is art. Does that make sense? I'll give you an example, like another example. So say somebody made a movie, and this is how they made the movie. They rolled they had a formula. Let's say like hero's journey. They take like the hero's journey formula, and they literally have a list, like an RNG table of like 100, like they just roll a dice, and they're like, okay, like the hero is a male elf, and then they roll another dice, and it's like, oh, and then it's this, and it's just completely like there's no thought into it. It's just like RNG formulaic in order to get like the most amount of people to look at it. I think that's not art either. I think what constitutes like something being a creative endeavor has to do with basically making something within the vision of what you want it to be. May not be art, but it'd be a better movie than what we see these days. Thanks for the bits. Thank you. So AI is the same. You can just type like, I could just go into like AI right now. I could literally go right now and just be like, I'm gonna do it like literally right now. One gen, an anime girl. Right? I just type an anime girl, and like I don't give a fuck what it looks like, right? I'm just like, whatever, right? To me, that's not really a creative thing, because you're not being creative, right? Like what's creative about typing an anime girl and then taking the first thing that it gives you and then saying that that's good enough for you, right? There's nothing creative. I don't know. I feel like, I don't know why, but it feels to me like a lot of people have trouble grasping this concept. It doesn't seem like that difficult to me. Like it just seems like it's like sometimes I feel like I'm living on like a completely different like it just feels like I observe like reality like completely differently, like from like everyone, and it's drives me insane actually. The concept to me is that the creativity is based on like a person taking a creative vision that they have in their mind and then making that reality, regardless of the vector or the parts of which it is created from, right? Like for instance, if I had a creative vision of like, I think like a sandcastle that looks like this would be really fucking cool. And like, I had this idea of like, man, I'm gonna make this sandcastle, and it's gonna be like the wall from like Attack on Titan. But then like, I'm gonna put like some like, but it's like in space though, right? Like it's like a space wall. And then like I were to use sand as the vector of that creation. Like I don't think that makes it less or more creative than something drawn on paper or made out of paper clips or 3D modeled in Maya or whatever, right? Like I don't see the difference between that. It's just a different method, right? And this has nothing to do with this has nothing to do with it of difficulty. I don't think that difficulty is related. I think as humans we value difficulty. We do value difficulty and skill, but I don't think it's actually related to the aspect of, I think it's divorced from the creative aspect. I think is like not related to difficulty, right? Because like I could, for instance, if I made a vase out of clay, right? But then I did that same thing with a microscope on like an even smaller level where I had, I don't know, a salt crystal, and I were to use like needles in order to carve a vase out of a salt crystal. I don't think the difficulty really makes that endeavor. The fact that you could use a needle to carve a vase doesn't make the original vase made out of clay of less value. Does that make sense? Anyway, here's your fucking anime girl. Actually looks pretty good, actually. The prompt was literally an anime girl. That was it. I just typed an anime girl, and this is what I got. Oh my gosh, it's art. It's the perfect anime girl. So now, like, let me show you. Okay, so for instance, I don't think that that's artistic at all, right? But, or creative. I don't think it's creative to type an anime girl, take whatever you get, and then be okay with it, right? But like, what if we took that same thing, right? And I hit like, okay, I'm gonna use that as a thing. Okay, and then I'm gonna completely change this. Okay, I do not support that one. Also, the fuck that stole Ghibli's art style. I do not support that one. Here's the thing I don't buy about that argument either, is people are okay with artists drawing in the style of Ghibli. There are plenty of artists who do this. They take a commission and they're like, oh yeah, like the client asked me to kind of make it like Ghibli looking, so I made it Ghibli looking. Like nobody gives a fuck about that. Everyone's okay with that. Again, inconsistent philosophy. Yeah, you see, exactly. So see, you just made the argument. That was my argument, Tazuto. Remember the argument I made about the salt crystal? That's literally what you're doing. AI Gen has no respect for what it copies. AI Gen is not a person. AI Gen can't respect anything because it's not a person. Does a paintbrush, does the pen of an artist who draws in the Ghibli style, does it disrespect the artist? I don't even know what you mean. I don't care that people are using it. What I'm saying, Tazuto, is that your argument is entirely emotional. That's my point. And I understand the emotion. I understand where it comes from. I'm just saying it's not logical. It's not logical or philosophically consistent. None of it is. It's purely emotional. We can see it with the overuse of AI. Well, I mean, again, AI can be bad. I don't think AI is a okay. Don't misunderstand me. I'm not saying that AI is good. I think AI is neutral. I think AI is a tool, and it will be used for evil and it will be used for great things. Both. In this, like, a person can use an AI to flood the internet with hate for, you know, in a targeted hate attack against people that the original creator didn't want. Okay, the original creator, if they hate somebody, they can use AI in order to attack them in a plethora of ways. That's not AI's fault. That's the fault of the person who's doing it. Just like a camera, it can be used for good or evil. Yeah, exactly. You could take pictures of somebody candidly when they're not paying attention, and you know, spy on people's privacy using a camera. But it can also be used to make beautiful photography of the solar system, the stars, right? In the desert at night with the right exposure, the right lens, in the right environment. You can get like really beautiful pictures of like the stars. No one cared that the milkman was replaced. Everyone bought the fridge. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if respect is the point, then are you against hentai? Are you against all of the fan hentai of I don't know, Pokemon characters or whatever, like everything, all of the fan hentai ever made? Are you against that too? Hentai is respectful though, says Younger. I don't know about that. But anyway, to go back onto what I was talking about, right? Like you could just have this, you know, freaking AI anime girl, right? And you just type that. It doesn't really mean anything, right? But like if you wanted, like for instance, like you know, say like I needed her for a specific thing, right? Like I need this anime girl for a specific thing. Okay. So this picture is going to be the inspiration for it, at least the base, right? So then okay, take this anime girl. Let's see. Cut her hair a bit. Let's see. Make her hair shorter, about shoulder length. Give her a open front hoodie, so her uniform still shows. The hoodie is baggy, way too big for her. Her hair should also be, I don't know, fucking green. Her hair should also be dark green. Dark green. Oh, let's do purple. I like purple. Her hair should also be dark purple. Dark purple. Put bags under her eyes because she plays video games too much. And she was late for school because she was up all night playing video games. Give her glasses with large circular frames. Make her hair disheveled and messy. Make her expression like tired, her mouth open. There we go. I mean, and again, like this is like not even that good. Like you could go deeper, right? Self-talk says Ultra Part. Bro, I just wanted it's the first thing that came to my mind. Hayao Miyazaki says AI generated images are not art. It's an insult to life. I mean, that's his opinion and he's entitled to it. I'm also entitled to disagree. That's true. Miyazaki also does hate his own son. That is true. Oh, dude, can you imagine being that guy's son? Fuck. Poor guy, man. Poor bastard. There we go. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Yeah, that's the girl I wanted. Guys, okay. See, this is what I'm talking about. All right, guys. So see, we got the anime girl here. All right, and this is the girl I wanted right here. That's exactly what I wanted. Exactly what I thought in my mind. Exactly how I imagined her. Oh my god. Give me that hikikomori. But anyway, so to explain it, right? So this first one, right? This doesn't, basically I had no vision for it. Does that make sense? I had no vision for what this is. This thing right here only came into existence completely randomly. It had nothing to do with any input from myself at all. I didn't care what it looked like. I didn't care how it looked like. None of that mattered to me. She could have not been wearing this for all I care, right? Like her hair didn't have to be this length. She didn't have to have this expression. Her eyes didn't have to be that color. None of that mattered, right? Whereas here, I mean, you heard me talking in real time of how I imagined her in my mind. Does that make sense? And I already know that I'm not going to convince anyone on the AI side because they hate AI so much. They hate AI so much that like all rationality has like left their brains, like to be honest. But I'm trying to convince people that don't know about AI. Do you see the difference here? The difference is intention. Again, I'm not saying anything about difficulty. Difficulty has no factor here. Obviously, if a person were to draw this picture, it would take them significantly longer. It would take them much longer, probably. I'd estimate this picture would probably take them a whole day. Whereas it took me, what? 10 seconds? And again, like this isn't even like as good as like it could be. Like I could like individual, like if I wanted, I could, you know, like I could take, and, you know, you guys might not know about this, but I could take this and I could literally say like I could specifically do something like remove the tie, change it for a bow. Like you can target very specific aspects of the picture actually. Like for instance, like here, I'm just gonna do that real quick. Yeah, in painting. A lot of people don't know about this. You know, see, this is the thing, is a lot of people I know that don't like that have all these opinions about this stuff. They don't even know about it. They don't even know how to do it. Anyway, so what I was gonna say is that this is so if you were to hand draw this picture, obviously it would be a lot more effort. It would definitely be a lot more effort. There would be significantly more intention behind it, right? I mean, let's not lie. Obviously, like there's a lot more intention involved in that, right? Again, it's gonna take them a whole day. It's gonna take an artist a whole day to draw this, and there's probably a lot more intention in like where the folds go for, like, you know, like all of these shadows, right? From the arm, all of that's gonna be like kind of more intentional, right? And, you know, I'm assuming that they're not just like looking at the reference book and just copying it, right? Which, you know, I mean, let's be real, a lot of people do that too, right? A lot of artists will do that too. They'll like literally look at a picture of like a hoodie and then they'll just be like, okay, well the fold would go here then, right? Like, however, sometimes there's intention behind it. Like maybe there's some kind of artistic reason that like they did it in a specific way to convey a certain emotion. And, you know, all of that is like kind of baked into the picture, right? It definitely takes more effort to do this by hand, for sure, 100%. Nobody's arguing that. My argument is that I don't think effort is the only metric when it comes to something being artistic or not, or creative. Not artistic, creative. Creative is a better word for it. I don't think that the effort, creativity is effort, because again, you can see a lot of things that take a lot of effort, but then they have no creativity. See, and then so here I took like literally the same thing here, and I just told it to take off her glasses and give her red eyes. So you can do a lot of stuff like that. Obviously, like it didn't retain like some of the aspects of it because you're gonna have to specify that. So the reason why this third one doesn't have the same thing is because I didn't specify it. Some people are better at art and it takes time and effort to get a better product than other people who are worse at art. Even if you include, like for instance, like I don't think this is artistic at all. Like this is just me memeing right here.
What's your favorite anime? Yosuga no Sora. I love the siblings looking out for each other. What's your favorite anime?
Kuroi Nu. I love the world building and lore.
Heck yeah, me too. Me too.
And
Same.
What's your favorite anime? Dexter's Laboratory.
I really relate to DD. She's so smart.
Yeah, those are all AI. Those are all AI. They're just memes. I thought it would be funny, so I literally just did that. I tried to do some like AI ones with I tried to do some with videos actually, and it was kind of like with anime, like kind of hybrid, and it looked kind of interesting. This was a joke. This is like a little joke one. You'll only get it if you are a Moraine person, but I mean it's pretty decent. You know, like obviously it's not perfect. There's obviously like issues with it, right? Like if you were to look at like, you know, there's obviously like some artifacting and like kind of blurring and stuff like that going on. But you know, for something that didn't exist and now it does, based on the idea I had in my mind, right? You know, the idea behind it being that there's these two anime girls, but they're doing like an interview, but then the background is like real, right? The background is real, so that's why like the background is intentionally like looks real, like it was supposed to be like anime characters in like a real life scenario, and like it, you know, again, like this didn't exist right until later, and you know, you have other ones, right? Like what are some other ones I have? I have a lot of different stuff actually that I was doing. Like I was just kind of like messing around with it, like seeing like what you could do. And it looks a lot better than it used to. That's for sure. I mean, obviously it's still kind of, there's still some issues with it, but compared to like before, it's quite crazy. You know, and you know, what's it going to look like in 2 years? Right? I was like learning like the ins and outs. It's honestly very scuffed still. Like there's a lot of bugs with the software. And the way that one works is through keyframes. So you have like different keyframes, like ending and starting keyframes, and then it like kind of tries to like guess what's in the middle. Here's like another one I did. Oh, here's the one that we did. So I'm actually using 3 different tools for this. It's a combination of Sora, Google VO, Google like Gemini VO or whatever the fuck it's called, VO Flow, VO2 Flow, and Premiere. So I'm also using video editing software in the end. Yeah, I'm also using. We did this one.
And now,
this one. You know, obviously it looks so scuffed, but it was like supposed to be like one of those fucking game awards. Oh wait.
and now, a special treat for you.
The only place where the action never stops.
Intense Walmart employee. Thank you. So stupid. Yeah, it's a little bit, you know, obviously it's a little bit fucked up. But the thing is like, here's the thing, guys. We thought everything was, you know, we thought everything was fucked up. Like we thought it was fucked up 2 years ago when it comes to like image generation, right? Image generation was terrible 2 years ago. And we also had like those freaking Will Smith spaghetti eating like stuff was also terrible like 2 years ago. So it's like it's quite a jump. It's quite a jump from 2 years ago. So we'll see in like 2 years it'll probably be like significantly crazier, right? Anyway, and so I did like a little training project where I was so basically I wanted to learn more about like the new like AI technologies and stuff. So I took some time out to like I took like half a day or so, I think like 7 or so hours trying to learn like this new program. And this is what I got from it. This is fully made with AI, by the way, even the pictures. I hope that it's the end of AAA slop. Dude, it is. It actually will be. That's the irony. Is it actually will be the end of slop, because you know that's the funny thing with people calling like AI slop, is that it is gonna be the slop killer in the end, because when everybody can make AAA slop, then AAA slop won't matter. They won't make money anymore. Right? Like, it's not very consistent, but if your life state isn't improving, it is improving. Yeah, it is. And again, like I'm still learning like how to do it as well. But yeah, this is why I strongly disagree with ethical AI. Ethical AI just wants to keep AI in the hands of multi-billion-dollar corpo types. Yeah, I'm a fan of like the average person having access to it. What was used to make that, if it's okay to ask, experimented? Yeah, of course. It's a combination of Sora, Google Flow VO2, and Premiere. I used Adobe Premiere to do the cuts, but it's all of them like together. You can't really like and again, this is the thing that people misunderstand. You can't just go into like the AI video maker and be like, make this intro for me, and then like, you know, you can't just do that. Like it still requires like fine tuning, like, you know, starting and ending like keyframes. It's gonna take like hundreds of like generations, and then you're gonna have to like find the ones that are like the best, and then you're gonna have to put them all together in Premiere. The elf with the sword looks weird. Yeah, that was you want to know what that was? That was a case of fatigue, Kaiser. That was you ever seen somebody like do something and then they get to like 85% done, and then they're just tired and they're just like, yeah, you know, fuck it, like I don't give a shit anymore. That's kind of like what happened at that part. I was just like, fuck it, it's good enough. It's an issue I see as a form of gatekeeping. Upcoming artists will be overlooked. I'm not an anti-AI. I just want policies in place before it's too late. Wait, but then asking for policies to be in place to like limit AI, isn't that gatekeeping? I don't know what you mean. Lex, talking about new artists learning to do art. Well, you see, Lex, what's probably going to happen to that, to be honest, is art is probably going to become much like a lot of art. What's going to happen? This is my you know, my prediction, right? What I think is going to happen there is art is going to become much more of a hobby than a job. I think, at least in the entry levels of it, much like a lot of other things, by the way. A lot of things are the same way. A lot of creative endeavors are the same way. Like writers, for instance. Writers don't just, a lot of the times, they don't just write right away when they're learning. You know, there's some aspect of having to kind of hone your craft before like it actually becomes like a full job. And the same thing happened with a lot of other professions, like blacksmiths, for instance. Blacksmiths, you're not really gonna find a job as like a, you know, a basic blacksmith. It doesn't know anything nowadays, right? Whereas back in the day, you probably could get a job like being a blacksmith assistant quite easily. That's probably not a thing anymore nowadays, right? So art is going to go back to the pursuit of beauty rather than pursuing money. Yeah, what Julio said. But again, a lot of endeavors are the same way, at least in the lower levels of things. I mean, even like in my field of game design, a lot of people that become game designers are people that worked on for fun projects for free in the beginning. And then a lot of jobs are like this, actually. And the more that I think about it, it's a lot more jobs that are like this, where you kind of start off doing it kind of, you know, especially like these jobs that are considered like more artistic or creative, usually start off as a person pursuing the creative endeavor independently of like making money. And it kind of just falls into that. It kind of just falls into them making money from somebody being willing to pay them for their time for it. Like for me, for example, before I made money doing game design, before that, I made like shitty video games for free, and I ran Dungeons and Dragons. I DM'd Dungeons and Dragons for free for years. So it's really not it's really not like it's not uncommon. And I don't know why illustrative art should be immune to that, right? And of course, like, you know, obviously I feel like on an emotional level, like emotionally, I feel obviously bad for the people that are in that predicament. But my question is, like, are we gonna halt human, are we gonna take away the power from, like, you know, other humans for that reason? Like just to safeguard. It kind of reminds me sort of like a little bit of like the union thing. It's like almost the same, right? Where it's like do we safeguard certain people at the expense of everyone else? It's kind of how it feels like. And again, like, I'm okay with there being a distinction between the two. I don't think there's anything wrong with saying like, oh, this art is a 100%, you know, when we still have this today, by the way. This is still a thing today. Have you ever seen a person that has drawn, like, they've done like hand-drawn animation on like a fucking paper, and they draw it on like a freaking card, and then they just take pictures of the card over and over again, and you see that and you're like, wow, that's really fucking amazing, right? Like, obviously that's completely different from somebody working in the studio using digital tools where you can copy the fucking picture, right? Think about how they did things back in the day on cells. Every cell was like individually drawn, right? You couldn't just copy pasta the cell and then edit it like how you can nowadays, right? All this AI generation shit is going to create a vacuum of little to no talent. I mean, we already have that. What are you talking about? And we will come down to who can afford it the best. Wait, what do you mean? If there's more people that can, hold on. If you have more people that are able to be creative on their own, how does that lower the pool? I don't understand. Those who can afford the best AI, well, I mean, AI is getting more and more accessible, so you should want it to be more accessible, right? I don't know what you mean. You can use Grok for free and Sora. It's a little bit throttled. You know, you're a little bit throttled. You're probably going to be in like the slower to generate, but I mean, yeah. And also, it's the same right now for a lot of those things. Engines, computation, like you know, for instance, I don't know if you knew this, but the reason I have what is this graphics card? The reason I have like the big dick, like I think it's like 4090 or something. Like, I don't know. I don't fucking, let me look. 4090. The reason I have a 4090, if you didn't know this, by the way, the reason I have a 4090 is because it processes faster for rendering videos. So we already have that, right? A person that has more money can render videos like 5 times faster than the person that doesn't. You telling me that's not an advantage? Like, I don't know what you're talking about. Is art Kalex says, I have a question. Is art the vision and the creativity or the technical skill to translate thought to physical medium? I would argue AI will empower way more artists. So I think they're different things. I think they're completely different. Art, like, the problem with art is like, how do you define that? Like, we can't even come to an agreement on what art even means anymore. But I do agree that the vision is the part of the vision part is the creative part. The technicality of being able to translate the vision to a physical medium, I think that is physical or digital, right? Like basically the ability to evoke the creativity into reality is a technical skill more than it is creativity, right? And I can prove this. I can prove this right now with like a hypothetical. So say I took a person with technical skill, right? Say like person A had insane technical skill at drawing, and person B was only creative. Person B could 100% just dictate to person A exactly how they want it to look. They could micromanage person A into like making it look exactly like how they want it. So that's the proof that the creative aspect is in the creation part. I'm not saying the technical skill isn't impressive. Don't get me wrong. I'm not trying to downplay like people that are really fucking amazing at art. There are people that are amazing at the technical aspect of art. I just don't think that it's the same as the creative aspect. Modern art ruined the definition? Yeah, exactly. They did. Wait, what? You mean the storyboard artist and the character artist? No, I'm specifically speaking like of the hypothetical I presented. Has nothing to do with like the types of artists. Artists have had assistants that do their work. Yeah, exactly. Anyway, I think you know, I think this is a good stopping point for the topic. Like, I'd love to talk about it more, but you know, maybe another time. I do like talking about it. Yeah. You want to know the funny thing is, though, by the way? Let me tell you the funny thing. A lot of the times, and obviously this isn't all the time, but this is just my observation, completely anecdotal. But a lot of the people who, the most vocal people that love telling people that they suck at being creative because they use AI are usually the people that create nothing. They've never created anything, and they don't create, and they continue to not create anything. All they do is bitch. That's been my observation. If they were creating, they wouldn't have time to complain. It's not true they create lattes at Starbucks. Well, under that definition of creation, then, you know, maybe. Not just, I see it all the time. I see these accounts that are like, you know, like for instance, like, you know, like we're working on like the tabletop RPG. I've already talked about why we use AI illustrations for that. I've already talked about that several times. But I've had people that just, you know, they're just, I don't even know who they are. They'll just like come in and just talk shit for like no reason. They just talk shit basically, and then just be like, you know, soulless or whatever. They say stuff like that, and I'm just kind of like, why don't you make something? And then I'll usually look at their account, and of course, like, they didn't make anything. They just basically bitch about stuff constantly. The only thing that they create is complaining. They don't make anything that makes the world better. They don't make anything that makes people enjoy anything. All they create is bad feelings. They're like basically, they're literally like dark wizards, where all they do is just create negative feelings. They don't do anything positive for anybody.